Welcome to the Bold Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start this podcast by first sharing my personal sympathies with the families of the 8 women that attended the Joe event and perished in the flooding. They were swept away by some floods in Makueni, and may God console you with the families during this difficult moment. Ladies and gentlemen, there is that one man, the former Nandi Member of Parliament, Alfred Keter. Alfred Keter has been a lethal politician on Kenya Kwanza. And the irony has been that it comes from the Rift Valley. And I remember an event that was actually shared here, where people attended an event in Rift Valley and they were pleading with the residents not to shame the government because the government belongs to them. I'm going to share with you that video. Now, there's some 3 political developments around Alfred Keter. If you look at this screenshot, he alluded to a move and was asking in Twitter, why Kenyans, why shouldn't he impeach William Ruto? I know many narrowly might have understood that his harshness, or rather his boldness to attack William Ruto has been because he missed out on the UDA ticket. He won the UDA ticket for the Nandi Hills, but games were played in Bernard Kitur simply because Alfred Keter was not sitting well with William Ruto. He was denied that UDA ticket and given to Bernard Kitur even though he had won. So I think from then, many might have thought that his aggression against Kenya Kwanza would be rooted from that. But I don't think that is in it. Now, reports that have been emerging is that many have been asking about Alfred Keter. Immediately, he released a statement, I think that was on Sunday, while speaking on some function. He flew out to Dubai, and according to the multiple sources that have been trying to reach out, that he flew out to Dubai amidst aggression on the Kenya Kwanza, on how exactly he's been speaking about Kenya Kwanza. And as I want us to look more into that, but let me just look at this. I want us to start here because on Sunday, and not even on Sunday, previously there was an event he attended, and I want to see you to see his boldness. That event was attended by William Ruto's UDA luminaries from the Rift Valley, and they came out boldly to tell William Ruto what he believes was going on wrong.
And I'm not about to change. And I have no apologies to make. Because unless you say as it is, there are many people who will suffer. Usoaji image of Kenya. Na mimi nataka kuomba Bwana Secretary General. What you mentioned about delocalization is bothering many teachers. And it will be worse because the fuel has been increased and the cost of transport will be crazy that no teacher will afford. The cost of living is on another level. You stood on a platform of bottom up. Kusaidia wale wanyonge, alafu waende juu. Lakini sasa hivi mmesahau. Mkiongeza fuel, mnatesa wale wa chini zaidi kushinda wale wa juu. Ngoma mmoja wako kwa fuel to go test you. Na mtu waje kututisha hapo kidogo ati pagile moto ku amu serikali ifananwa mami yage rubuti wekityo sawa basi simuko hapa mkitoka hapa mtuonyeshe petrol stations ya watu wa serikali na ile ya opposition magenge ngibia mandazi gete bekele ngono anane na muzifambia tio sijini watu wa kumako losa tuweka sasa wanaona mimi mwene kimebe mangu. Anane. Caution. There are many people who are languishing in poverty. The school fees has been increased. The cost of living is on another level. And you spoke on the same basis. Mulisema yule rais ambao alitoka hapo anajua kuongoza. Hata mimi nikakubali. Lakini nyinyi you have made it worse than Uhuru Kenyatta. Anane, ukase kuhuni maisha mauli? Anane. Mamisa izo ege. Magisa zaega kasi jata kata tumul jamat magitijan. Ala ngoti japa. Ada mama jati ga bai mama mali kasi dia. Mau nada ke? Ata bi keleni mandangaleta takama. Weka mkono juu wale wote wanasema ni ukweli. Asante sana. May my uncle rest in eternal peace. Thank you so much.
So that is Alfred Keter for you. And you will understand that he's been coming out boldly, even in events that are attended by William Ruto himself, attended by William Ruto allies. And there have been bit of that silence. So on this Sunday, last Sunday, he unleashed a statement again while attending another function. And when he was speaking, he said that those who want to do anything to him, can they come do, and saying he doesn't fear anything. Now, if you analyze what Alfred Keter saying, he was indirectly insinuating that there are those who may be going after him. And that is something that you know about whether his life was under threat or something, but it was alluding to the fact that even what he was saying, there's some people that felt they're a bit uncomfortable with him, and I wanted to get that snippet.
You know, the problem with this country is tribalism. You want to have your own, and then they don't fix issues. Then you stick to your own. When your problems come to you, and take it to the bank. Come January, most children will not go to school because school fees has been hiked 3 times. This Christmas, very few people will eat Christmas. Alafu ukiuliza wanaambiwa ati wewe ni mkale, nyamaza. Wewe ni mkale kitu gani? Ukilala jioni na watoto wako wamelala njaa, ni wewe peke yako. It's not everyone. And all the petrol stations are in watu wa opposition and government. If you are a sufferer, you are a sufferer. This government is worse than Uhuru Kenyatta government. In my own, what I think. In my own view. Ama namna gani? This is a worse government. Because Uhuru left fuel at 104, it is 210. And you know the last time, about a week, CS Chirchir, ambao ni mtoto wetu wa Bomet, akatangaza ati because of the war in Israel and Palestine, the fuel is going up to 300. If it was not for the opposition and the members of press and the media houses to expose them, because many other countries were making news saying that the fuel is coming down because of the same war. Ours is going up for the same war. Ndio wakawaja juzi hawakuongeza. This week they were increasing to 250. Alafu wanatutisha sana ati nini? Sijui wanatishana na mimi wasijaribu. Mimi unajua mkiniangalia hivi mnielewe vizuri. Mimi hakuna mtu anaweza nitisha hata kidogo. Na siogopi, wanajua. Mpaka Ruto anajua. Sitishwangi na mtu yote. Moi died and I let his soul rest in peace. But he knows, Alfred Keter. Uhuru Kenyatta knows that mimi ni wa kusema ukweli. Let me tell you something brief as I finish. In this world, make a difference in people's lives when you're still living. Because this world is too short to live in it. If you go out to 110 years, you're lucky. You are lucky. The entire cabinet of Moi in 1963, maybe one person. The whole parliament, maybe 2 people. Our whole parliament in 63, maybe 2 or 1 are still living. This world, even Jesus Christ, the people who crucified him are still not living. And we don't remember them. We remember Jesus Christ. Tunaelewana? So we don't give a damn about that you want to take our lives or you want to take whatever. Come and take it. Anything that you want. So long as we speak the truth, because the Bible says it's only the truth that is going to set us free. Period.
I think people need to understand something. The Rift Valley Rebellion is more than what the media is saying. Is more than what the media is reporting. Because just like he's saying, when when sometimes when they got into power, there was an understanding that this is our own, this is one of our own. And you will realize that even despite of the fact that there have been perennial problem in the Rift Valley on banditry, even the fact that William Ruto went there multiple times and gave orders, bandits are still having a field day in Baringo. And many times the residents of those areas have come out asking, we knew that we elected our president who was coming from this place, someone who understands our problem, but we are far from it. There have also been, you can also look at what Cherargei is having an issue with, the issue between Cherargei and Murkomen. And you will understand that the backbone of all that is the fact that someone needs some entitlement. And it narrows down to one thing, that despite the fact that government is formed by Kenya Kwanza and backed by Kenya Kwanza, that sense of belonging seems not to be there. I want to play for you the soundbite of Dunstan Omari. Dunstan Omari attended the fundraiser in Eldoret, somewhere in Eldoret, and he's narrating how the leaders were even begging the residents in their local dialect that they should not shame the government because the government belongs to them. And this came, this a day before the heckling in Bomet. So even before the Bomet, already it's an indicator that the ground is not very friendly.
The only safe haven for Kenya Kwanza is not to appear where people are, is to disappear to Germany, to Saudi Arabia, and to Parliament where the Kenyans are not. It is bad, kimeumana.
All right, saying kimeumana, I'll come back with you, Honorable Basila. Allow me, we haven't seen a former president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, since the last national delegation.
The former head of state,
yes,
has been forced by Kenyans to come back to the political front by the clueless government of Kenya Kwanza, because it's like they were not present at Kasarani when President Uhuru Kenyatta handed over the instruments of power. They still think President Uhuru Kenyatta is the president of this country. So every issue is being talked about is Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta handed over power. But because they are clueless, and clueless in the sense that he pumped in incompetent people to sit in positions of making decisions, from cabinet to directorates to presidential appointments to ambassadors, the country seems not to be moving anywhere. And that is why, out of failure, complete failure to run the country, they are now talking about this was caused by President Uhuru Kenyatta. So that is why I said that a clueless government, those who cannot be able to govern because they have lumped the people who are incompetent, cannot at all deliver. For example, the president himself was in Bomet, his own turf. The Minister for Energy was chased badly. And that tells you that things are not working. I myself, Anki, on Saturday I was in the president's county. In Eldoret, was in Gishu, in a church. No, next to Sugoi.
Okay.
I don't know the constituency, but I was in a church at Eldoret, which is it was around 5 kilometers from Eldoret town, at a church place called Queenette, an SDA fundraising church. And it was tense. You could see the politicians of that region trying to tell the people, please, this is our government. Please, this is our government. Please, don't chase us. Please. It was bad. And I looked at it and I said, if you are telling people like this, what will happen at Bomet? They got it right. So the Kenyans are very clear.
All right.
It will not, the prices at the pump do not know. This is a Kenya Kwanza person. This is an Azimio person. The food prices do not care whether this is a Kalenjin, this is a Kikuyu, this is a Kisi. So the reality is downing on President William Ruto. And that is why you see the only safe place for the president to be is out of the country. He's better safe there than facing the people in this country. Last week we gave Ruku a challenge. Go to the people. The president tried to go to the people in Bomet. He got it.
All right.
So the only safe haven.
I'm not shocked of that, because even Rigathi Gachagua has been on record telling the region that, telling the Mount Kenya that they should not rebel against Kenya Kwanza, because Kenya Kwanza is their government. And they've been so specific on the need for Kenya Kwanza to at least for those from Mount Kenya not to attack the government, or rather to oppose the government because it's one of their own. Now there is something I want to tell you, and this is to prove to you that the Nandi Hills, the former Nandi Hills MP, is very thorny and is very lethal on Kenya Kwanza. I want us to make these two observations. He hails from Nandi, and from Nandi is where the Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei has been a staunch supporter of William Ruto. Staunch supporter, you will see him tweeting, call press briefings, and even everywhere. But this Alfred Keter comes from his county. There is no single tweet or no single statement that has come from Samson Cherargei trying to neutralize what Alfred Keter is saying. You'll get that, even though you know very well that the senator has been coming out to attack, of course, attack anyone who crosses the path of William Ruto, and has been one of the strongest William Ruto supporters and cheerleaders from the region. Now, Nandi Hills MP Alfred Keter comes from that region, comes from that county, but Samson Cherargei has never said anything about him, or even anything about it, because he speaks the majority voice. And so this information about him leaving the country will not come perhaps as a surprise, because it's just a bit preempting on whether it's leaving because maybe the ground is a bit hot, or rather the kitchen is hot, or for any, sometimes you also need to know where to retreat and how to retreat. Now, other analysts also believe that marshalling state machinery on Alfred Keter will even embolden him more, and that will even allow him to get the much needed media attention that he's not been getting. I know very well that with the way he's a bit strong, and sorry to use the word radical, even the media, he cannot appear in the panels to even speak about the state of the nation, because I'm telling you, I think he can really destroy, the soup. So he's not been coming out. And I remember the other time when Ruto had a fallout, not Ruto, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, had a fallout with Joho. The state machinery was marshaled on Joho, and it even emboldened Joho. Joho got media attention, and one of the reasons why he could easily sell even 2027, how he made his name, is the fact that he was brushing shoulders and attacking Uhuru Kenyatta one-on-one. Mimi sikuogopi. You remember that? So he's been there. And one thing I know very well is even if things can get so worse, but the worst that Kenya Council will do is to eliminate Keter. I don't think that's even in the picture. That will do not appear anywhere, because Kenya Kwanza also came into power, and part of the narratives that Ruto team had to confront in public is, bit of those words and things said against William Samoei Arap Ruto. So he would not want that to reoccur. And you remember, this is already someone who is already in public. If anything happens, will it be a guess? Who will second guess? So I don't even think that will be it. But again, even in such times of conflict, you need to know when not. I was just analyzing my previous video that the cases of disappearances, kidnappings and all is normal. I think it seems to have normalized them, and no one, it's no longer shocking. Even to the state agencies, when they appear and when they're supposed to comment about it, they're not that much. Now, I want to tell you something. Keter is thorny on Kenya Kwanza, but why is the Ruto team very delicate when handling him? It's very delicate. They are very sensitive on the way they will handle him. And I want to tell you the reason. The reason why is, number one, Keter poses a substantial threat to Ruto's succession suitors. Anyone from Mount Kenya, and not from Mount Kenya, anyone from the Rift Valley that wants or is posing as preferred Ruto successor knows very well that if you are working under Ruto's shadow, then you'll have to carry the baggage of what Ruto have gotten wrong and what Ruto has gotten right or bad. That which is wrong, that which is bad. Now, if it is Murkomen will have to carry the burden, Ruto's wrong burden. What he has gotten wrong, Ruto will carry. Now, if you get an alternative voice speaking from outside, like Keter, who can say, because there are two ways to it. You may want to work with the king so that when the king exits the stage, the king can say, this person. On the other side, you may want to attack the king so that you also know, because when someone is also in leadership, he attracts love and hate at equal measure. At least you will not get those who love Ruto, but Keter will get to the darling, will be darling of those who doesn't subscribe to William Ruto's style of leadership. So that's one of the reasons that he is an it for some reasons. Number two, I remember Cherargei silencing the succession talks simply because this time round there is a big debate between the Kipsigis and the other side. And it's not going to end. So if the likes like Keter comes in, things might become a little bit different. Number two, he's not new to this confrontation, and he's on record saying he confronted Kibaki. He confronted Uhuru Kenyatta. And it's not new for him to confront William Ruto. What am I saying? Even the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, knows very well that he has enemies all over the country. They are political enemies, they are also commercial business enemies, they are international enemies, quite many. And if there are those who would want to destabilize him, or rather just skin the king, elements or leaders like Keter will be at their disposal. And you never know. You know, it's also not clear. It's not very easy for a leader just to come out boldly and say, you can do what you do, I don't fear you. You know, that boldness doesn't just come from, it doesn't just come out casually. You might also understand that, okay, what is this Keter made of? Number three, Alfred Keter, I told you, won that Nandi seat, nomination through UDA. But next day, he was denied the UDA ticket, simply because he was also considered a latecomer in UDA, and was also believed to be an outsider, someone who did not subscribe to the UDA agenda. And then that ticket was given to Bernard Ketur. So what these people know very well, he is also very popular in his constituency. And any effect, anything that might also interfere, try to come on his way, it can affect the Nandi vote landscape. It can affect the Nandi vote landscape. And if there is something that William Ruto must do by all means, is to ensure that Keter is just Keter. Nothing happens to him, and that is the status quo. They must ensure the status quo. Because if he was already popular, he actually beat the UDA candidate. Then there comes a time, you know, he can even interfere, he can even have a very big say in the Nandi political landscape. And that is one of the factors that is seen. Number three, Keter manifests the face of national rebellion that William Ruto outrage, that William Ruto is facing starting from the home ground. It is very true that Ruto is facing outrage not only from the Rift Valley, but even other Kenyans. But that is also clearly that he's starting from there. That is building. It is building from there. And that is why you will see these people will try. No one has come out. And you can mark. I remember when Cherargei started attacking Murkomen, Sudi was out calling Cherargei all sorts of names, and that's insulting Cherargei. Even the Ruto's, spanner boys like Kimani Gujiri from Nakuru, the former Bahati MP, no one. That is considered one of the elder politicians from the region, but no one, not even the governor. So that is why I'm telling you that there is more than what catches the eye. I honestly believe it is not very easy for even the government side to try to interfere with Keter.